This week on Amalie Celtics Weekly, the Celtics are locked in a battle with Detroit, which could determine the home court advantage in the playoffs. Local hero Ramil Robinson was in town with the Atlanta Hawks, and we'll talk to him about growing up in Cambridge and making it in the NBA. And the Celtics match up with a new rival to teach some lessons about basketball and life. All this and more next on Amalie Celtics Weekly.
Amalie Celtics Weekly, brought to you by Amalie Motor Oil. Better than it has to be. And now, here's your host, Mike Gorman.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Gorman, and welcome to Amalie Celtics Weekly. Well, the Celtics are now in the midst of their longest winning streak of the season at 6 games. Their 3 opponents last week were tough ones, and with each win, the Celtics seem to get a little more confident. The Nets got out early in this one. Derek Coleman with the ball down low finds Chris Morris, and it's 14-10 New Jersey. Robert Parrish then the quick hands, the steal of the Mookie Blaylock pass. D. Brown goes for the layup, and Boston grabs the lead 18-16. Robert Parrish wide open on this pass from Larry Bird, but he can't put the dunk down. Chris Dudley gets the rebound up to Petrovic, ahead to Morris, who would have 18 on the night. Nets go back up by 3. For John Bagley driving the baseline, Eddie Pinckney comes up with the dunk. Boston leads 50-46 in the second. Then Eddie Pinckney knocks the ball away from Coleman. Larry Bird nicely to Kevin McHale. Celtics lead by 5. And then Bird inbounds. Reggie Lewis, shot clock running down, hits a 3. Celtics have a 10-point lead. Bird, nice little pass to Robert Parrish there. Celtics are up 74-66. Then Mookie Blaylock to Chris Morris, into Derek Coleman for the layup, and he's fouled. Boston's lead down to 3. Chris Dudley knocking away the inbound pass. Mookie Blaylock gets the layup. The Celtics are holding on to a slim lead. Bill Fitch trying to help his team, grabbing a hold of Larry Bird's foot there on the inbounds pass. And then Chris Morris, triple team, gets the ball into Derek Coleman through a crowd. Derek 2 and is fouled. Boston up just 5, but then Larry Bird hits the 3, and the Celtics pull away down the stretch. Detroit came to town, and the Celtics were ready. Ed Pinckney with the strip there. D. Brown goes all the way for the layup. Boston goes up 20-16 in the first quarter. Larry Bird misses a shot, but Eddie Pinckney there to grab the rebound. He gets 2 and is fouled, and the Celtics are up 3, 31-28. Dennis Rodman, the inbound, gets it right back for the dunk. Detroit makes a little bit of a move. Then John Bagley, a steal of a Mark Aguirre pass, gives to Larry Bird. Bird finds Kevin Gamble. It's 39-34 Boston in the second. Then it's Larry Bird to Kevin Gamble again. Bounce pass right back to Larry for the layup. Celtics go up by 11. Dennis Rodman showing his stuff with the rebounding here. But then a careless pass. Kevin Gamble the steal. And the Celtics have an 11-point lead, 65-54. Isaiah Thomas puts the steal on Reggie Lewis. Up to Dennis Rodman. Watch Rodman. Good look here for John Sally coming down the lane. Boston's lead is just 10. But the Celtics had some fast breaks of their own. John Bagley to a running Kevin McHale, who had 16. Boston goes up by 12. Then Bagley has the ball tipped away, but Robert Parrish grabs it. Celtics lead 80-69. Bird, some outside range, hits a 3. It's 85-75 in the fourth. Then Bird, the drive and the dish. McHale, the jumper. Bird tipping in the rebound. Celtics still up by 10. Another 3 for Larry, and a win for Boston.
We needed this game to get us even with them because we'd like to have the home court in the playoffs. But if not, we feel we can, if we're playing this well, we can win on the road. But it's a tough game. We just blew it open there at the end.
We had opportunities in the third quarter. We get rebounds, we get turnovers, and we throw it back away. We get to the foul line, miss foul shots. So consequently, we never could close the gap.
We're starting to play a little better now, so there's things are looking up a little bit for the Celtics. Hopefully we can continue to just play well and see what happens. We're starting to get some combinations that are working well. Guys are getting a little comfortable out there. Johnny Bagley just did a tremendous job tonight, in D, filling in for D, and so it was just a good win all the way around.
We were 1 for 7 free throw line, had 4 or 5 quick turnovers, and that'll get you in trouble against this club. They shoot it too good, they're too smart, and they outplayed us for the second time in a row.
The Atlanta Hawks came to town on Sunday night, and the Celtics were ready. Kevin Gamble would have 22. Boston up there 6-0. Then D. Brown comes up with the steal, goes all the way for the layup. It's an 8-0 Boston run to begin the game. Reggie Lewis the block on Stacey Augmon. Kevin Gamble gives it to Larry Bird for the jump shot. 15-3. Boston jumping all over the Hawks. Celtics fake the pick and roll here. Robert Parrish gets the dunk. It's 23-11. Then a 4-on-3 fast break. Everybody touches it, as they should. Reggie Lewis the layup. And Boston's up by 20, 35-15. Bags to Kevin McHale. And it's suddenly 54-29 in the second. Sherman Douglas the miss, but Pinckney with the big follow. And the Celtics are cruising along. D. Brown here to Larry Bird. Right back to Kevin Gamble for the baseline jumper. 91-67 in the third. Then Brown to Kevin Gamble to McHale to Parrish ultimately for the slam. Great ball movement again. Celtics by 26. Ramil Robinson misses the driving layup here, and Larry Bird will send a long pass ahead to D. Brown. The Celtics had no trouble at all with the Hawks.
I thought our guys came out and stayed focused and really played well at both ends of the floor. I thought the ball movement at the offensive end was as good as it's been all year. A lot of ball going from one side of the floor all the way around the horn to the other side, and that's what we hope to do every night.
It just shows what we can do when we put our mind to it, and when we have everybody healthy. We're going out there, we're playing at both ends of the floor, and we're playing well. Everybody's contributing. The guys on the bench, they're coming in, and they're giving us that boost that we need, and hopefully things will continue like this and they carry over into the playoffs.
Well, we're playing a lot better. I think our defense is a lot better, and that turns us into a good offensive team. We got some great ball movement tonight, which we have in the last couple of weeks. So, if it continues, it'll make it a lot easier for everybody.
Well, the Detroit Pistons were also winners on Sunday, so these two teams still neck and neck looking for that home court advantage in the playoffs. Another team looking to secure a spot in the playoffs is the Atlanta Hawks. Now, without Dominique Wilkins, the Hawks have been struggling, and one of the players they have looked to pick up some of the slack is our own Ramil Robinson from Cambridge, Massachusetts. And we'll take a closer look at Ramil when Emily Celtics Weekly continues.
Go one-on-one, up high, short. Michigan's ball. They've got an opportunity here now to win it. They've got to hurry. 5 seconds. Robinson goes and foul call with 3 seconds. A foul against Seton Hall with 3 seconds. Michigan leads it.
Welcome back to Emily Celtics Weekly, everyone. On Sunday night, the Atlanta Hawks were in town, and one member of the Hawks is no stranger to this area at all. That's guard Ramil Robinson, who grew up in Cambridge, and his success story is nothing short of inspirational.
Ramil Robinson, starting point guard of the Atlanta Hawks, seems to be in control of his bright future. But as a young man, his future looked extremely bleak until Helen Ford came into his life.
And I was in the office talking with Carol, and I said to him, come here a minute. And he walked in the doorway, and I says, I hear something's going on, and you're not a happy camper. Now, if you feel like talking, you can come in the office. I'll be in here. And whatever. So he went. Next thing I know, I see his little head peeking around the corner, and I said, hi, how you doing? He said, hi. I said, come on in. You want a can of tonic? And there was a fridge there, and I got a tonic out for him. And he said, thank you. And I says, just take your time. And I just made like I was doing something on the desk. And finally he had just opened up and said, things just wasn't happening the way it should be. And I listened to him, and keeping my composure, because it was a shock to me. It was like a traumatic thing for me. I never heard anything like this. And I said, well, young man, you're coming with me. And I brought him home. And it's so funny because I thought I was doing sequel 2 of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. I walked in the house and I said to my husband, we have a guest tonight. And my husband asked me what was going on, and I said, well, this young man needs a place to stay, so he's going to stay here tonight. And everybody was in agreement, and it just went from there.
A couple of years later, Helen and her husband Louis wanted to adopt Ramil to help him settle down his home life.
Ramil, we would like to adopt you so that you would be really settled and just go on about your life. And he said to us, does that mean I have to change my name? And I said, not really. I said, you like your name. Everybody knows you by your name, but that's not a big thing. And he said, oh, well, if I can keep my name, yeah, I'd like to be adopted. And we just went forward. And it just, worked out well. I didn't think that it was a big issue for him to change his name. He was established as Ramil Robinson. And look where he is today, as Ramil Robinson.
He definitely came forward for me. When you don't have anywhere to go, like I did when I was a young child, it's just a great feeling to have her around and, just have the opportunity, like I said before, to go back home and I say thank you.
As Ramil started to experience success in basketball and step into the spotlight, he showed his gratitude to the Fords by giving his championship rings to his father.
Well, his very first one was in his high school when he and his partners won the state championship. And after that, he gave me his championship ring and made a promise that that would be one of the first, basically, and it was quite an honor. Kids don't give up their graduation rings or their state championship rings very often. So I felt very honored as a dad, to be given that.
During the memorable 1989 NCAA championship game in which Michigan defeated Seton Hall, Ramil was Mr. Clutch down the stretch. However, his father almost missed the thrilling final moments.
They committed a foul, and Ramil was going to the line. Last 3 seconds of the game. And the little guy says, I gotta go to the bathroom. I'm out of it now, Well, you can't hold up. In the middle of the big old stadium, and I go down to the bathroom. Whistle blows, foul, or timeout. Get him to the bathroom. We're on the way back. Somebody else called a timeout for some reason or another. Fortunately, I was able to get back to the seat in time. We saw the baskets and hullabaloo raised. Well, that was a thrill.
In an up-and-down rookie season, one of Ramil's best memories was coming home and playing in front of his family and friends at Boston Garden.
Yeah, it's definitely a pleasure to come back home. Your old friends, it's a commodity that you had when you was here, and just a wonderful feeling.
I didn't know what to expect. I know that he has a lot of New England fans. He wanted to put on his best performance. He was home. I know that he knew we were there, his family was there, and it's exciting for his younger brothers to see him, and his sister. And they sit there, and of course, they're the loudest ones in the gardens, and we're the only ones in Boston rooting for the Hawks, but that's the way it is,
Ramil used last year's off-season to come home to Cambridge and further his degree, somewhat of a surprise to his mother.
When he said, I'm coming home and I'm going to take some courses, and I'm saying, courses? You've already got your degree. He said, Mom, you never can have enough education. I'm going to further my degree off-season. I said, oh, that's really nice. And so he said, yeah, I'm going to go to Harvard. I said, Harvard? As in Harvard University? He said, yes.
It was an acting class, which was, helped me out with my communications. And I'm doing a lot of things now back in the city of Atlanta, which does come in hand, just to know little things that you should do, in front of a TV or, just getting up and speaking in front of people. You always want to get yourself, able to do those kind of things.
No matter what happens to Ramil in the future, he'll always be thankful for all the Fords have done for him and will continue to use them as his inspiration.
My mother and father have always been an inspiration to me. They always have taught me, great things about life and, things to look out for. There's always kind of things, especially when you get to this part in your life, that you always remember, because they always come up. Because, of course, they've been there before. So anytime you have the opportunity to just sit down with someone older or, your mom or dad, your grandfather, whatever, you always sit down and listen because, they've been there.
Nice story. Coming up next here on Emily Celtics Weekly, we'll check out a new kind of competition for the men in green at the Red Auerbach Fun Basketball Clinic.
This all started to raise money for the endowment fund so we can give something back to the kids of Boston. We can have summer programs, basketball, swimming, track, and so forth. That's why Mal Sherman and all those guys that came out with that check, boy, that's unbelievable. That makes you feel very good, very humble. I'm most appreciative.
The Boston Celtics make a conscientious effort to give back to the community that they play in. The players participate in camps, they make special appearances, and lend their names to many causes. One group that holds a special place for the Celtic organization is the Red Auerbach Fund, created by the Celtics president back in 1984. Recently, the fund held its annual basketball clinic, an afternoon of fun, some serious messages, and of course, a lot of basketball.
Throughout the season, the Celtics have faced some strong competition at the Boston Garden. One squad that met the C's last month may not be full of NBA All-Stars, but it was as ready and determined as any that's hit the parquet. This group of local all-scholastic players took the court with the Celtics as part of the 4th annual Red Auerbach Fund basketball clinic. Not only did it give young men and women a chance to meet and learn from the men in green, it provided thousands of others a chance to see the Celtics in person for the first time, as the Boston Globe gave away free tickets to the event.
And this year, the Globe got involved and they sponsored along with Cytex, and we ran one house ad in the paper and got this response, over 14,000 people here. So it's really a fantastic event. This is, one of the few events that people other than ticket buyers have the opportunity to come in and feel a presence with the Celtics. So I think it's a great community event, and it's a great event for the Celtics and their opportunity to be here with the Celtics and the community.
With the seats filled and the fans raring to go, the C's provided a little off-the-court advice before addressing the instruction on the court.
You, as young men and women, have got to find ways to help the family. It doesn't necessarily mean going out and earning money, but it means possibly taking advantage of the opportunities that are presented to you by your parents, your teachers, your coaches.
The young crowd received some helpful lessons not only from Coach Chris Ford, but from Rick Fox, Steve Brown, and Kevin McHale, who all emphasized the importance of family, education, and pride.
I think the difference was the players out there speaking, and ML Carr speaking directly one-on-one with these kids and talking more about just the game. I mean, talking about life in general. And the fact that at one time, they were in the same state that these kids who were sitting in the crowd are in.
Set your goals and try to reach those goals, stay in school and try to be the best person you can be. I think that's the one message that I think we are trying to send everyone.
After some helpful hints about growing up, it was time for some more advice in the form of basketball. The Celtics hit the court to run some tough mini drills with the best high school players in Eastern Massachusetts. Seeing the Celtics up close and relaxed was a real treat for the fans, but some unexpected excitement was yet to come. The clinic marked Larry Bird's first public on-court appearance since his injury in late December. It provided number 33 with some sharp competition.
The game went on, the confidence grew, and Larry became more daring with the shot selections. But the young fella had him nervous. We all know that.
It was the fans' opportunities, those young people who were here today to see Larry making his debut. You know, they saw him first on the Boston Garden floor, so that's a little added touch.
Coaches, players, and fans all agreed there is nothing quite like such an event to bring stars and the public a little closer. Thanks to the Red Auerbach Fund, that feeling of community can flourish.
You know, when I was growing up in a small town in Missouri, we didn't have that, you know, luxury, and especially had the luxury of seeing Larry Bird, Robert Parrish, Kevin McHale, Dee Brown, Reggie Lewis, you know, the list goes on. Not only can they show them and talk to them about basketball, but they can talk to them about life, too.
I just thought it was just a couple players coming down and warming up or rebounding for him. I didn't even think it was going to be a crowd or anything. I didn't hear anything about it. And geez, it was quite a surprise that, you know, I came down and the place was filled and I got to shoot with Reggie Lewis. You know, I got in the locker room afterward and got D. Brown's autograph and stuff. So it's great, you know, it was fun.
There was some terrific words and thoughts about drugs and being good human beings, and they brought the sense of family home to everyone here today. That's far more important than sports.
We really reach kids all over the city, all over the area, and not only in basketball, but in swimming and track and whatever we can do.
Well, I'm sure we could all use some pointers from NBA stars on how to play basketball. And if you've seen their commercials lately, Kiss 108's Matt Siegel has been getting some private lessons from Celtic point guard Dee Brown. Dee and Matty were recently at the premiere of the new movie White Men Can't Jump. And we'll take a look at what happened next here on Emily Celtics Weekly.
Only the white guy. Not play with black guys.
$500, baby, and you can pick anybody out here.
Raymond, man, look at the chump, man. Give him the chump. You mean play basketball?
Last Thursday night in Boston, the new 20th Century Fox movie White Man Can't Jump premiered at the Loews Cherie Theater. The movie stars Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes as a couple of guys trying to win a bet on a basketball court. Also in that movie is former NBA player Marcus Johnson, who has now turned to an acting career. The movie opened to the general public on Friday, March 27th, and the reviews so far have been pretty good. But before that premiere, Celtic guard Dee Brown and Kiss 108's Matt Siegel were on hand. If you've seen their commercial, Matty is apparently able to sink 12 in a row after some coaching from Dee. Well, Matty and Dee did sink a few of their own, but mostly they hosted a hoop contest where 10 raffle winners won autographed basketballs from Dee and then had a chance to shoot some baskets to win a trip to see the Celtics play the 76ers down in Philly on April 14th. There's the winner. He's 5-year-old Howie Hohen from Norwood, Massachusetts. Celtics have got themselves a busy week. They're going to take a little trip of their own before they see the Chicago Bulls next Sunday. First up, the Washington Bullets come to town on Wednesday night. That one will be here on Sports Channel. Game time for the pregame show is 7 o'clock. Then the Celtics hit the road, take on the Indiana Pacers, a team still in the playoff hunt. That'll be Friday night out at Market Square. And then the big one comes up Sunday afternoon. The Chicago Bulls on national television will be at the Boston Garden. Big-time payback right there for the Celtics. Hope you enjoyed this version of Emily's Celtics Weekly, everybody. See you next week.